As we all know, there are so many games being developed by so many companies every single day. Naturally, this means that the large majority of them, specifically those from smaller companies, fall by the wayside. One such studio released their first game in 2019. This studio, Piccolo Studio, was founded by 3 people who worked in advertising for 2 decades, before risking it all to pursue their dream of, as they put it, crafting video games. In 2019, like I said, they released their first game, Arise: Simple Story. I have played through this game twice now, and I have gotten platinum in it, and I can tell you that this game had a profound effect on me. It is for this reason that I'm shocked at how little attention this game seems to have gotten, and it is for this reason that I'm making this video telling you about the game. Now, for sake of being concise, I'll just call it Arise from here on out, okay? And also, spoiler warning. So, just as the name implies, this game tells a very simple story. It can be completed in just a few hours, and it's only 10 levels. It tells the story of a man who has just passed away, who is looking back at the ups and downs of his life, each level being a different memory from his life. On top of this, given he has died, there is no dialogue. Every person he comes across in his memories is made of stone. Despite this though, the story keeps on moving. I would like to say that it makes up for the lack of dialogue, but honestly, when considering what this game brings to the table, I'd honestly say that it's better without it. So without further ado, let's talk about what makes Arise such an incredible game. For this being their first game, Piccolo Studios really hit the nail with this story. The game opens with a funeral for a man who then wakes up in this area full of snow, which is the main hub of the game. As he walks down in this snow, circles appear in it one at a time, each being a memory from his life, a level. The first level is the memory of when he first met the love of his life, when he gave her a flower. The second shows them as kids, playing together with their kite and chasing it after it gets away. As the game goes on, it shows them get separated and his struggle to reunite with his love. It shows the joy and passion of their romance and the fruit of their love. And then in the 6th level, the man remembers the excitement he and his wife felt and when they realized she was pregnant and anticipated the birth of this child. Until when he finally reaches the flower representing this child at the end of the level, it wilts, fades to black, and disintegrates. He has to recall this miscarriage. He has to remember the pain and despair, and how all of his dreams of raising children burned down before him in that moment. He has to recall getting past his fears, getting past this despair, and even more so helping his wife do the same thing. And in the 9th level, he recalls the fear he felt when his wife took a fall in her old age, and in the 10th level when she died and he had to wander around for the rest of his life without her. Though she was never really gone, her spirit was always there to brighten his day and guide him towards hope, towards a better life even without her. And then, after the 10th level, he dies too. And now, after reliving the highs and lows of his life, he sits next to the statue of his wife and child and joins them, becoming a statue just like them. Yes, this is a simple story, just a man reliving the highs and lows of his relationship with his wife. However, not every story has to be deep, as the simplicity of this story makes it all the more moving. This is especially true when also taking into account how the gameplay and animation are incorporated into this story. Now, is the gameplay perfect? No. Like all games, there are those frustrating moments when it seems like you're doing everything right, but you still die. Even so, though, this downside to the game is easy to overlook. Why? Well, because like I said, the gameplay is incorporated almost perfectly into the narrative. For starters, this man is dead, and the levels are his memories. Thus, he is technically outside of time, and thus, the game designers decided to give you control of time. This feature is used to make what would otherwise be a straightforward level design into a somewhat puzzling level. At certain time periods, progression may seem impossible, but if you rewind or fast forward time enough, an opportunity will certainly present itself. Perhaps if you rewind enough, snow will melt to reveal a hook, or if you fast forward enough, a rock might fall into the screen for you to jump onto. This feature keeps finding new ways to be useful each level. Perhaps the coolest example of using time to your advantage though is found at level 4. In this level, the man remembers when he was searching for the woman he was separated from. Naturally, he was worried he wouldn't find her in the dark, or perhaps that she would be hurt in the earthquake. Many completely dark versions of himself appear, representing his fears. They swarm the man, but if you reverse time enough, lightning can strike, and then the light from that lightning bolt forces them to retreat. Having the man run away from his fears that could so easily overtake him, and having light be the fear's weakness are two great examples of the gameplay being incorporated into the story. In level 8, when he remembers consoling his wife after their child's death, the man has to piece together his memories from previous levels in order to reach her. This is such a great way to make the player, like the man, recall the good aspects of the story, and remember that despite this loss, their love is still something great. As we recall the man's past, it makes his reunion with his wife all the more meaningful to us, and then in the 10th level after her death, having the entire level be the man following his wife's spirit, the only light in a dark cave, was a great way to express the loneliness an elderly widower must feel. Now let's talk about animation. You're probably wondering why I grouped it with gameplay rather than making that its own section. Well, that's because I don't have too much to say about the animation. It's an indie game, so it's not some incredible animation. However, for its art style, the designers of this game made sure to express the intended emotion for each portion of the level through their animation. During the second level, the man rides on snails and bees, slides down streams of water inside wooden logs, jumps across gigantic flowers that move in the sun, and bounces on spider webs. It takes such small things, and by enlarging them and giving them such bright, contrasting colors, the level really brings out the childlike wonder the man must have experienced there as a kid. The world feels so big, so beautiful, just as a child sees it. For all the levels, the color scheme is on point. Just look at level 5, the level about their romance, which is mainly blue, with a bit of purple, pink, reds, and even a bit of yellow. Not to mention, of course, the green of the lily pads you jump across. This color scheme really accentuates their passion, something further expressed by this game's greatest strength, its music. Without dialogue, the only way to express the emotion of this story with sound is through music, and this game has one of the best soundtracks I've ever heard in a video game. David Garcia Diaz did a phenomenal job with the music here. Each level has its own, and you can be assured that you'll get goosebumps multiple times while playing this game thanks to Diaz's work. It's relaxed when it needs to be, shocking when the child dies, dark and depressing the levels following this, and it's loud and absolutely beautiful during the high points of the man's life. One such example is the first level, when he first gives the girl a rose. Listen to this for a moment. It's as beautiful as that many times throughout the game, but perhaps the best example comes from level 5, Romance, the level I was discussing in the previous part of this video. So for most of the level, as the man jumps from lily pad to lily pad, the music is simple. For the most part, it's just a piano, with some occasional violins and chimes. However, as the scene builds and the level reaches its climax, the music crescendos, trumpets, violins, just far louder than anything that had happened before, and even the choir joins in the music. They sing as the man is whisked around in the air, looking down upon perhaps the best memory of his life, the night he and his wife truly expressed their love. As he keeps going up, the music gets louder and louder until it's mainly only the trumpets and the choir that can be heard, the music now at its peak, louder and more beautiful than ever before. And then, as the climax of this level concludes and the man glides back down to the river, the music settles and returns to that simple piano we heard before, though this time with the violin more present, as the man floats down the river to a statue of him and his wife sharing a kiss, surrounded by flowers, fireflies, and some vines, giving the scene a certain sense of privacy, until the music stops and the level ends. So, because of its narrative, gameplay, animation, and music, I firmly believe that Rise of Simple Story is a fantastic game, one I find to be criminally underrated. I absolutely love this game, and if you're looking for a simple game that's fun and memorable, and not that expensive, this game is certainly it, so please go check it out. Piccolo Studios delivered a phenomenal game with the Rise of Simple Story, and I cannot wait to see what they make next.